Time isn't on your side. More time means more destruction by mindless forces.
More time means lots of things. All kinds of stuff happens all the time.
That's nice, Sockman, but the point that I said remains true, which is that the more time you have, the more destruction you'll have.
It's not an assertion about the results of erosion.
Oh, and also, and if atheism has no implications, why do you not bow to Mecca? Is it because of back problems? Or is it because you're an atheist? It's obviously because you're an atheist that you don't bow to Mecca. In my case, it's because I'm a Christian that I don't bow to Mecca. So, to the cube in Mecca. So, atheism has implications. That's just one example. Even not collecting stamps has an implication. For example, you don't waste your time collecting stamps. So don't just say atheism is not this or that, because what you're really saying is atheism has no implications, as many atheists have said, which is a lie, as I have already proven.
Time isn't on your side. More time means more destruction by mindless forces.
More time means lots of things. All kinds of stuff happens all the time. Why are you picking out this one thing?
Because it's relevant. And why are you trying to nitpick other things which are irrelevant to what I'm talking about?
So you have...
Because you're grasping at straws, Sockman.
And Mount Improbable is a lie. It's Mount Impossible, deluded atheist. You have erosion or tornadoes or whatever mindless forces you have. They're always, and you can see it. It's not my opinion. You can always see it. It's empirical. They're always overwhelmingly more destructive of order than progressive of order.
Okay, so processes that you say are destructive.
That I say are destructive? Are you blind, Sockman? You're saying tornadoes are not destructive? You discredit yourself further.
Are destructive. And all the other stuff we're just going to ignore. And somehow you...
What other stuff? You mean reproduction? Your red herring fallacy? Where you commit circular reasoning pretending that there was no intention behind DNA, which you haven't proven, so you're full of shit?
I think people are not going to pick up on this.
If you don't believe me, it's because you do believe, but you don't want to admit. You know.
I know you believe that tornadoes are more destructive because you know tornadoes are more destructive. This photo is proof that tornadoes are more destructive. You're not blind. I know you have eyes, Sockman.
Oh, this is the truth.
Well, maybe you don't have eyes because you're hiding them, but you probably have eyes, Sockman.
Truth you don't want to admit.
Cope.
Cope for what? There's nothing to cope with. You're full of shit and all of your arguments are garbage. I crushed all of your shitty arguments easily.
Atheists are evil.
Paper tiger.
You know there's a God you don't want to admit.
You agree with me. You must agree with me.
And I gave reasoning for whys, but you're omitting the reasoning, so this is another strawman fallacy. Well done, ill-Logicked.
I think I'm right, so you have to agree with me.
That's not my argument. I didn't say I think I'm right, therefore. I gave actual reasoning, which you're omitting here because you're dishonest and pathetic and a coward.
Come on, guys. Come on.
And some of you have already forgotten what you know. Suppress the truth, lied so much you start believing your lies.
Christianity really doesn't get any more pathetic than this, does it?
Pathetic? Then what? You haven't scratched any of my arguments. You haven't accomplished anything except to show how dishonest and hypocritical you are.
This is the worst of it. No, you know I'm right. You're just suppressing it.
Mocking me as if I'm a whiny brat is hypocritical because you're the whiny brat. God made you, as I already proved. You know, there's no mindless way to account for a sandcastle, so how could there be a mindless way to account for you? You have nothing, Sockman. You're full of shit. So you're a brat whining. Why does he try to argue for there being a creator I have to be subject to? I don't want to be subject. I want to be God. I want to determine everything. I want to be in charge. See, I can do that too, Sockman. Right. But in my case, I actually have a point because that's all you're doing because you don't have any rational argument. I've proven all of your arguments wrong. I'm not afraid of any of your shitty arguments, nor those of your hundreds of blind followers in the cult of the quasi-religion materialism.
Come on, guys, please. Please tell me I'm right.
I don't beg for acceptance. I don't need your acceptance, and certainly God doesn't. It doesn't matter how many people fight God. You're nothing compared to God. You're just a maggot squirming against the creator of reality. You're full of shit, and you haven't had a single logical argument against any of mine. And if you cannot defeat one Christian, who are you to challenge the creator? You're nothing.
It's fucking painful to listen to.
Yeah, it is painful to listen to your strawman fallacies.
But you know that mindless forces are an absurd explanation for great order. You can see it all the time. You're not, come on. Anyway.
South Park is garbage. South Park is atheist propaganda.
I believe in intelligence. That makes me not unintelligent. You believe in mindlessness. That makes you mindless. That makes you not smart.
If you believe I'm an idiot, that makes you an idiot.
I actually gave reasoning, and the reasoning was that I believe mind is the origin, whereas you believe mindlessness is the origin. So you are mindless and I am mindful. That's the difference.
You believe in idiots, and you are whatever you believe in.
So you're omitting my reasoning again. Look at this strawman fallacy. Look at him acting like he's smart for taking down a
If you believe in
strawman.
rocks, you're a rock. See, you don't even briefly think through the things you say. You're an idiot.
You took out my reasoning, so you're not smart.
So the atheists who call people like me idiots believe the equivalent of, look at this here. That tornado be building that building. Just a matter of time. I got proof. Just wait forever. Very convenient.
Erosion builds sandcastles and tornadoes build buildings.
They should be able to if no intelligent design is necessary. Are you admitting that intelligent design is necessary, atheist? Because if you do, for such a low level of order as a sandcastle or the relatively low level of order of a house in comparison to DNA, then you're a hypocrite for saying DNA could be mindlessly done. Bike straps.
Atheism.
You're not fit to judge on intelligence when you believe such stupid shit as time will make tornadoes build houses. More time equals more probability of a tornado building a house. Yuck.
That sure ding dong diddly is what I dang ol' believe.
It is an analogy of your belief, and a valid one, because you do believe mindless forces can create great order. Therefore, it's a valid analogy, and you whining about it just because it makes you look like a ridiculous person that you are doesn't refute the analogy as invalid. You haven't done that.
I say, yuck.
Now, some guy said, apparently, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Like telling atheists over and over again that they actually believe everything you say.
I didn't say you believe that tornadoes can make houses because I never accused you of consistency. I know you're a hypocrite, Sockman. Don't flatter yourself. I would never say you're consistent. I know you're a hypocrite. I'm just applying your standard across the board. Look, I'm not saying you said that sandcastles can erode into existence, but that you would if consistent. What is this madness? Atheists don't believe this, that sandcastles could erode into existence. Speak for yourself. Some do openly. And you would if you weren't a hypocrite. How can you say DNA can whoops into existence but not a little sandcastle? You're like Muslims if they said, you strawman us. We don't believe Muhammad was a pedophile. Muhammad was a pedophile. You strawman us. We never call him that. You don't need to admit that for it to be true. Oh, really? You don't say. Mindless forces over and over again result in destruction, chaos, and the regression of order. What I just said is something you can see and has been proven by that photo in front of you. So I have empiricism on my side. What does this Stockman have? Overwhelmingly.
You picked two things. You picked erosion, which you barely even touched.
Erosion isn't just one thing. I chose erosion in all of time, in all of the world, or worlds, where erosion occurs. So that's endless evidence right there, which you're trying to reduce to just two items. No. Every single case of erosion is an item, and that's billions and trillions of items in thousands of years, ever since nature was created. Less than 6,000 years ago, as I proved in my series Crushing Atheist Myths.
Done. And then tornadoes. Why would I even attempt to draw some sort of general principle about what mindless forces do from that?
Did I say that you even mentioned tornadoes? No, I'm using them as an analogy for your belief that mindless forces can explain what only mind can explain, like DNA or sandcastles.
Gravity, chemistry, electromagnetism. Yeah.
Gravity doesn't explain the universe because the Big Bang is proven wrong by constellations. Because if there were violent expansion of energy and matter, which is an explosion, by definition, if there were an explosion of time and space, as most atheists believe, and as you would believe, because you're just another atheist who doesn't question what he's taught, Sockman, gullible Sockman, then if that were true, then the constellations would have been distorted centuries ago, thousands of years ago. But no, they're the same today as they were in the past. Now you would claim that now people like you do claim that there are very, very, very slight, imperceptible almost, differences between constellations today and in ancient times. But that's still a red herring fallacy, because the prediction of the Big Bang would be such drastic changes as to totally distort the constellations into total dissolution.
The only things in the world that are
And diffraction explains redshift. There's no need to explain by an expansion of the cosmos. Atheists don't think outside the box. They believe whatever they're told by the establishment. So, you believe subhuman blacks exist, you're racist, Sockman. You believe, and there's no proof for that shit. You believe that time exploded, there's no proof for that. CMB radiation can be explained just as much by the flying spaghetti monster's aura as by your Big Bang myth, which is unfalsifiable and therefore unscientific. Now, in a way it is falsified by constellations, but is that an empirical falsification? Not exactly. It's more of a logical falsification, I think, because you don't actually see it not happening. You would need a time machine to make sure that it didn't happen. Because you could always assume that it did happen, and then it went back into a big crunch. So that would be why there's no expansion proven. Again, diffraction explains redshift. Diffraction because the more distant stars will have more space debris between them and us, and more space debris means more diffraction means more redshift.
relevant are erosion and tornadoes.
They are relevant because they're mindless forces, and you believe mindlessness is how you can explain great order. You can't even account for a sandcastle, you pathetic atheist.
Everything I need to know about the natural world I learned from watching a tornado.
That's a strawman fallacy. I never said that everything you need to know from the natural world you learn from a tornado. What is it with you and strawman fallacies? Do you hump scarecrows in the night?
Yuck.
But atheists are insane. Don't be so crazy. You know, intelligent design is rational.
Nah.
Nah? So when you see an SOS on the beach, you don't conclude intention did it? Yeah, you do, you hypocrite, you liar. You're in denial.
Every time you preach against it, you're giving evidence for it because you're doing it by intelligent design. You're hypocrites.
Every time you preach against evolution, you're giving evidence for it.
You're changing the subject to evolution. You're a coward. I didn't say evolution here. And if I were to mention evolution, it would focus on macroevolution. So that's like a double strawman fallacy. That's ridiculous. I've seen strawman fallacies from atheists, but you just did a double strawman fallacy. If you reject macro-puberty, where we grow up into giants, you're rejecting puberty. That's the same as atheists saying you reject macroevolution. That's the same as rejecting evolution. Nope, you're conflating your fiction with reality. And no, I wasn't talking about evolution here, atheist. I was talking about something else.
For it because you're alive because of evolution. You're a hypocrite. Yuck.
No, you're a hypocrite because your video was intelligently designed. And I use intelligently loosely here. Your video was intelligently designed, so you know it takes intelligence to create the order of your video. And editing it orderly. In an orderly way. So you're a hypocrite. You always resort to intention for order. Always. For great order, like at a sandcastle above. So you're a hypocrite. You're giving me more evidence for mind did it, not mindlessness, you mindless atheist.
Atheism is insanity. Science shits on atheism. Let me go back to that picture because it's so beautiful. Science shits on your atheism.
QED.
I'm typing mindlessly because it's a matter of time until I do it right. Time makes it happen. I'm an atheist.
Was that a serious video? I don't know. 50.
Well, it's a valid analogy. You believe mindlessly you can achieve great order. That's an example of someone trying to achieve great order mindlessly. But you don't want to accept that it is a ridiculous position to have, you're a mindless one.
50. I guess leave a comment about whether you think it was legit and why.
It doesn't matter what atheists believe, what they so-called think, because all of you just say the same shit. You lie about me, say I do a strawman fallacy. Maybe a few of you don't say that, but almost all of you are just regurgitating Sockman here because you don't think for yourselves. Over 3,000 not smart atheists like this garbage, where he lies about my argument, totally omitting my reasoning in the very title itself, because he's a coward and a loser forever. Where you insult me because I say that intelligence does things, whereas you prefer mindless things, even though you can't explain the sandcastle mindlessly. In half an hour of propaganda against me, he has not provided footage of a sandcastle eroding into existence, or a tornado building a house, or anything equivalent to this. All he has given is his wishful thinking that evolution could come about without a mind ultimately. Who invented DNA? How did DNA come about? He has just done circular reasoning that there's no God behind it. That's circular reasoning. He's rational.
Thanks for watching. If you would, please give the video a like and click subscribe if you haven't. Huge thanks to all of my supporters on every platform. If you want early access, sign up to the email list.
So you give money to this guy so he can lie about other people? Wow. You may as well use your money as toilet paper. That's more useful.